Sticky fingers, theft charges in Louisiana. You can receive up to 20 years in prison in this state for theft. Today's video covers the crime of theft, Louisiana Revised Statute 1467. We will explore how the crime is defined, the elements of the crime, and penalties if you are found guilty of the crime. Theft is defined as a misappropriation or taking of anything of value that belongs to another person without that person's consent or fraudulent conduct. You have to have the intent to deprive the person permanently of their property. So if you take something, let's say you go to your girlfriend's house and you take the cable box and you return it 30 minutes later, chances are you won't be found guilty of theft because there was no intent to deprive her of it permanently. So when we get to subsection B, we begin to learn what the penalties are. And what are the penalties? Whoever commits the crime of theft when the misappropriation or taking amounts to a value of $25,000 or more shall be imprisoned at hard labor for not more than 20 years and may be fined up to $50,000. So if you steal $25,000 or more, I'm not saying you'll get 20 years, but the penalty, the max penalty is up to 20 years, and the max fine is up to 50 years. If it's $5,000 or more, but less than $25,000, the fine is up to $10,000. The penalty is up to 10 years in prison. If you steal more than $1,000 but less than $5,000, you are looking at up to 5 years in prison and up to $3,000 as a fine. Now, the first three we just covered are all felonies. Under subsection B, B1, B2, and B3, those are all felony grade offenses. There's a misdemeanor grade, and it's under B4. When the theft is less than $1,000, you're looking at up to 6 months in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Now, theft is a charge you have to be very careful with. You don't want to make this a habit. Number one, you just end up landing yourself in jail or prison. Number two, the statute specifically says when there are 2 or more previous convictions, you're looking at up to 2 years in prison and a fine of up to $2,000. So even if you're dealing with a felony grade theft charge, if you're a known thief and you continue to do it, it will be enhanced and upgraded to a felony based on the number of times you've been convicted of it. If you or someone you know is facing a theft charge, reach out to us. We have a great deal of experience dealing with this sort of case, and we'll do everything in our power to get a good resolution for you. You can find us just by doing a quick Google search, championsforjustice.com. You can also find us on Facebook or Instagram by simply clicking the links in this video to find our website. Last but not least, you can always reach out and give us a call, 225-383-3800. That's our main office number. If you have any questions about a pending theft charge or even a prior conviction for theft, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'll respond in writing, or I'll make another video where I discuss and answer your question. Now I want to discuss subsection C of this statute, and I'm going to pull it up so we can go through it together. When there has been a misappropriation or taking by a number of distinct acts of the offender, the aggregate amount of the misappropriations or takings shall determine the grade of the offense. So what does that actually mean? Here's a classic example. Let's say a person goes to Walmart every day for a week or once a week for a month, and they steal $500 worth of merchandise each time, to the point where the total value of everything they've taken is over $5,000. The total of those 10 transactions that results in $5,000 of theft, those totals can now be added up to now make it possible for the prosecutor to charge you with a felony. We've all seen and heard about cases where a person walks out of the store, they may have a TV in their buggy or some other item at the bottom of the buggy, and they say, hey, I didn't intend to take that. Well, the law has been revised to deal with this situation, and it says the intent can be inferred, which basically means they can assume you intended to take it. Here are the 5 ways the law has incorporated this inference. Number 1 is if you intentionally conceal the item. Obviously, this is the classic scenario where a person simply takes an item and puts it in their purse, puts it in their bag, gets a clothes bin and stuffs the item inside of the clothes bin, hoping the cashier doesn't open it or the nice little ladies at the door don't open it as you leave. Number 2 is if you alter or transfer the price tag. An example of this would be is if you were buying a t-shirt. It's not acceptable to grab a $20 t-shirt, a $5 t-shirt, switch the tags, and then go pay $5 for the $20 t-shirt. That's theft. Now, it's a misdemeanor, but it's theft because you've now transferred the price tag. Number 3 is if you transfer goods from one container to another container. So let's say there's great value butter, and then there's a name brand butter. You don't get to open these 2 containers of butter and put the name brand butter in a great value container and walk out with paying the great value price. That's theft. Number 4 would simply be if you willfully cause the cash register to show a lower price. There's a number of ways people may accomplish this. One being switching the price tags, other being some kind of technology that a person may have access to that tricks the cash register. And 5th, and last but not least, is removing the price tag. So the strategy that thieves like to use, where they remove the price tag and they go to the register and say, oh, I don't know the price, I think it was $5, and the cashier refuses to go check or doesn't feel like going check and takes your word for it. They roll that camera back and see you remove that tag, you will be charged. If you found this video useful, click on the link in the top to learn about the crime of theft of livestock. And yes, that is a crime in Louisiana. I will continue to cover other forms of theft in Louisiana in subsequent videos. So please stay tuned if you're interested in this information.